who charged President Donald Trump in an election interference case, one of the biggest hoaxes, I think, in American history.
Absolutely. For more, let's bring in Republican strategist and former Trump campaign state chair in Delaware, Rob Arlett. Hi, Rob. And Republican strategist and managing director at Nestpoint, John Thomas. Glad to have you, John. And we're also joined in studio by our special guest, Newsmax contributor Denine Belli and Newsmax contributor Dr. Tom Borelli. What a panel, right?
Good morning.
Indeed.
Good morning.
So, Rob, we know that there is some DOJ activity surrounding Fonnie Willis, although it's not known exactly at the time if she's the actual target of this inquiry. What do we know, and do you think we're going to see charges coming forward, and do you think this is justice?
Well, yes, I would just say justice needs to be just that. It's got to be justice. And, and I was thinking about as we were heading into this segment here, you have to realize that it was the Democrats, when Trump came down that escalator in 2015 in New York, he was formerly one of the Democrats. He was. And when he shifted over to the Republican side and ran for the presidency, they all of a sudden hated him. And then the lies began. And my point to all of this is that the Democrats, big tech, big media, and the judicial system have been an onslaught of lying and then continuing the lie. So we have got to hold these folks accountable because, in my opinion, they were the true insurrectionists of this country. It was all of them involved in trying to take down a duly elected president, and I am all in for transparency and accountability.
Let's make it clear that the person in the pink dress was not James Comey.
It was not. It was not.
That was Fonnie Willis. But, John, Comey has stated he's innocent. If he's found not guilty in a trial, what kind of blow would that be? And give us a time frame. When will he go to trial?
Boy, well, justice doesn't move swiftly in these kind of things. And in fact, the Trump admin filed these charges literally days before the statute of limitations ran. So they snuck right in under the buzzer. I wouldn't expect, although a swift trial is guaranteed, I wouldn't expect this to happen incredibly quickly. And if for some reason the President's Department of Justice doesn't prevail against James Comey, that's okay. The point is, the system would have worked. The process would have been played through, and a jury of Comey's peers would have had an opportunity to view the evidence and make a determination. Well, right now, What we found ourselves is that Comey thinks he can just get away with it all, and that's not right.
Yeah, before I pivot here, Denine, I want to get you in and get your thoughts on Fonnie. What do you think this means that they're requesting her travel records? You remember some of that travel included a lover.
Her boo.
Her boo. That's right. She traveled with her boo on the taxpayers' dime.
Yeah, Nathan Wade, who was paid, over $654,000.
Had no experience in this kind of law.
She supposedly hired him without permission, I believe. I don't know. He spent Gibson trips on her. So, yeah, subpoena everything you could possibly get and wipe that smug, arrogant look off her face because that woman is a train wreck.
Wow. So I want to pivot here, although I don't really want to pivot. That was so good.
But how do you really feel, Denine?
Yeah, no doubt. Now, it has been reported by some outlets that the FBI told members of Congress that the agency sent 240 plainclothes agents to January 6th, despite previous denials. Now, President Trump weighed in on Truth Social yesterday, saying, in part, I want to know who each and every one of these so-called agents are and what they were up to on that historic day. Now, Christopher Wray, he was the then director of the FBI, has some major explaining to do. Rob, what's your reaction to this story?
Again, it's another fake and false narrative. The Democrats are so good at it, to be very honest with you. They're really, really good at it because they're all in on the lie. And for me, we all knew that was not an insurrection. Again, the Democrats have been trying to insurrect this country for a decade, over a decade now. And so for me, follow the facts. And I agree with President Trump. Hold these guys accountable. Remember, in the previous hour, I said, what does it mean when you raise that right hand? Every one of those agents did just that. And they need to be held accountable for not upholding their own oath.
What do you think about Jan 6 and the FBI sending agents?
Yeah, I think former FBI Director Christopher Wray, he needs to be in front of Congress because many times I think he denied that there were any FBI agents there. What were they doing? What were they about? And I also want to know what it's about this FBI burn bags. Where does the FBI end up trying to destroy evidence or destroy documents? It's the American people's information. Put it in the archives, whatever. If it's secret, seal it. But why you have burn bags? Who ordered that? And what was that all about?
Good question.
What did they know and when did they know it?
And when did they burn it?
Absolutely, when did they burn it?
Yeah.
Rob Arlett, John Thomas, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Denine and Dr. Tom, we'll see you guys in just a bit.
Thanks.
Thanks.
There's